Welcome to another video from the
Missonians.
This is DJ the Kid.
RJ the Beast.
And today we are going to talk about why communication is so important.
Communication is important, but it's also one of the keys. Communicating and expressing yourself and doing things like that is one of the key things to being happy in your life. And me and Kid were sitting there talking about, we were like, you know what, let's do a video about communication. No, let's do a video about happiness. Let's do a video about expression. But you know what? Whatever makes you happy, right? It needs to be things, that personally fit to your kind of lifestyle.
Mine would be family.
Yeah, and mine would be family too, But, in order to have happiness, there's almost got to be communication. So I was sitting here talking about things like that. I was like, you know what? It could be about happiness. Communication and expression, because that all three of those things create happiness. And the reason for that is if you don't know how to communicate, if you don't know how to express yourself, okay, if you don't know how to do things like that, then happiness is hard to get to.
People won't want to be around you.
People want to be right. So, as you're expressing yourself to others, make sure you're expressing yourself in a way that is understandable to people around you. Because the thing about happiness and expression and communication is everybody expresses things differently and everybody communicates differently. And guess what? Everybody finds happiness in different ways, and everybody sees what happiness is in different lights and different perceptions. So let's talk about communication for a minute. Why is communication so important?
Communication is important because if you don't know how to communicate, you won't make friends, you won't have such good family.
And let's talk about friends. You will not make friends. That's a fact. Because what do you have to do in order to make friends? You have to talk. You have to communicate, right? But how do you keep friends? Communicate. Okay, that's one of the main things I wanted to touch base on. That's why I cut you off right now. Is you're right. Communication is how you meet people, right? But in order to keep people around, you have to be able to communicate still and keep that sense of communication open all the time, right? So that is 100% the truth. Communication is key to making friends, and it's also key to keeping friends. Anyway, go ahead.
Communication is important because friends, family, you want such a good family because you don't know how to communicate. And if some bad argument thing goes on and you don't know how to communicate, there goes your family.
Yeah, exactly. So communication is key, not only with building friendships in your family, but even communicating about who we are. Right? So say you meet somebody new and they don't really know who you are, and you want to tell them how you are, or tell them what you're about, or tell them the things that you like or dislike. How would you communicate that? Right? How would you communicate that to people that don't know you? Right? The easiest thing is to say right off the bat, this is who I am. This is what I believe. Right? That opens the door to communication because right off the bat, they see this is who you're all about. This is what you're all about. Okay. So, the main thing you got to do when you're communicating yourself to other people is to right off the bat state what it is you're about. Okay. Are you a lovable person? Are you a kind person? Are you somebody that can communicate with everybody around you?
And right there, those three things are the key to make friends and keep good family.
Exactly.
Communication, kind, happy.
Exactly. Now let's talk about on the other side of that. Communication in like a job or communication at school. Let's talk about that. Okay. So what do you think is the biggest part of communication at school? What do you think why do you think communication is so important at school?
You have to learn stuff, make friends.
And on the learning side, why is it good to have good communication skills?
If the teacher calls on you,
right,
bam,
right, and how you react to that. If they say, hey, DJ Kid, hey, listen, are you having a problem with this? At that point in time, you have an opportunity to speak up, right?
And if you're sitting there and you're having a big problem with what you're doing, and then your teacher comes over, hey, Johnny, do you need any help over here? And they're like, no, I'm good. You're not going to get that done.
Right. And a lot of times that's such a good point that you made, because sometimes in school, young people have an ability to ask these questions when they need help, right? But other times there are young people that don't have the ability to ask questions because of embarrassment, anxiety, all kinds of things. So, if a young person has an issue with how they communicate, sometimes that communication is lacked in school or in a school environment, only because they feel like maybe the questions they ask will make them look like they're not intelligent or make them feel uncomfortable. So they tend not to know how to communicate that, rather than saying, hey, yeah, I do have an issue. Number 13 on this test, or number 13 in our packet, is a little confusing. Can you reiterate or re-explain what this means? That's such a good point. So let's talk about now communication. Say, like in a job, right? So how do you communicate if you're a leader? How do you communicate to your employees, right? If there's something not going right, how do you communicate that without damaging that work relationship with them? Okay, and that's easy. All you have to do is pull people to the side. Don't say it in front of everybody. Okay, don't say it in front of everybody, because at that aspect, or at that point in time, you can embarrass those people. So what you need to do is take a minute and say, come here. Hey, the other day when you did this, that was really not the right way to do these things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do it. So now when you do it next time, it will be a better job done.
And a good way of listening or being a leader is listening and explaining things and not just doing what you just said, like,
yes,
and being like,
you were making some good points.
You did not do that right.
You were making some good points, because the main thing about communication is you have to be able to listen. You have to be able to listen and understand what's being said back to you once you communicate something out. So that is you were making some good points tonight, kid. That is one of the key aspects of communication. Listen to what's being said, because 9 times out of 10, we'll learn the most information off of what is being said back to us. So good job. That is a good observation. Now, let's talk about the other thing of happiness. Let's talk about expression. Okay. How do people learn how to express themselves if they've never expressed themselves before? Or what if they're a certain type of person, but they don't know how to express that to somebody? So expression is so vital. It's such a key thing, because how you express things to people is really going to show them how you view things, right? So on this aspect of this, expression is very, very key to explaining certain aspects through your communication, right? But if you're afraid to express who you are, if you're afraid to communicate what you're about, if you're afraid to do things like that, guess what? Do you think you can be happy if you cannot do those things? Because happiness, a lot of people think that happiness is money. Happiness is things. Happiness is cars. Happiness is things like that. But guess what? Those things are not happiness.
A big part of happiness is love, affection.
Man, another good point, and you get some data. Okay, love and affection is key to happiness. You know why? Because I look at happiness like a stairwell. Okay, there's different tiers to reach the top of where you feel like you're extremely happy.
And if, like, on those stairs, explanation, you're stepping up, you're doing a great job, take one step down. You, yourself, and your family are going to rebuild that step and keep going.
Yep, and it's crazy because if you think about it that way, you think of it steps or tiers up to your happiness, right? Love and affection are the first step. In order to move forward, you need to have love and affection, okay?
And just like right then, where I made a good point, but I was a straight face, Dad gave me a fist bump, I was just happy.
Yeah. And
I smiled.
That's that acknowledgement. That's on the next step, okay? Love and belonging, okay? Next step is that acknowledgement, okay? When people like to be acknowledged by people that they care about. So acknowledging someone's good work, acknowledging someone's good job, good attitude, that is key to being happy.
And just some words can make someone happy.
Yep.
Like, good job.
Yep. And anything like that. Any good job. Hey, you look awesome today. Hey, fist bumping, hugs, high five, dip, all of that stuff. Right. So the next step, right? So we got love and belonging. We got acknowledgement. The next step is that feeling of physical touch. That's what we're talking about. Hey, here comes DJ Kid, right? He's coming in the hallway. He looks a little down. I'm like, hey, bud, you all right today? Give him a little hug. Guess what? I might have just made his day.
And a hug could make anyone's day.
I might have just made his day.
Or just saying some nice things about him. Dad, I love your hat today.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. I like that shirt on you, man. I
Thank
like
you.
the way your hair looks, bud. So just little compliments and acknowledgement that people are trying to really communicate. So you got love and belonging, you get acknowledgement, okay? You got physical touch. And guess what is at the top of those steps? Communication. Communication and expression. Okay, so that's the very top. So once you get that feeling of love and belonging, and you got the acknowledgement, and then you're moving up, you got that physical touch, you got a fist bump, you got a hug, all of that stuff is very important. Then you get to the very top, that is the communication and expression, because guess what? Without all of those other things, you don't feel comfortable or have the trust enough to communicate right or express yourself right. But with all those other things lined up like that,
And
right?
that's how to be a leader.
Yeah.
By accomplishing those things, listening, expressions, loving,
Yep.
all of those things are part of being a leader.
Yep,
And if you can't listen, you're not a leader.
that's true, because guess what? I think I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. Some of the best teachers in the world are good students. And what makes them good students is because they listen to the people around them, and you learn the most by what's being said to you, not by what you're doing. So think about that. Think about that ladder when you're moving on. Think about why communication, expression, love and belonging, acknowledgement, physical touch. Think about why those things are so important. Once you figure that out, not only will you find your own happiness, but it will make you a better leader or a better person to lead others, I should say, in a job, in a career,
In a family.
anywhere, because you understand that you have to listen. You understand that communication is both talking and listening and hearing what's being said and moving forward off of those words that are being said to you.
Exactly.
So, we wanted to hop on here and do a little thoughts process for you guys and for us. We don't want to lecture. We only want to tell truths. So you guys, thank you guys for watching this live video of the Smithsonian.
Hit that subscribe button.
Make sure you turn on the notifications.
Hit that like button.
Hit the like button and leave us a comment, because guys,
we
we will respond. Sometimes it's hard to leave comments on these kind of videos because you don't know if people are going to respond. But I promise you, myself or a kid will hop on. We'll see your comment. We will respond. You guys, make sure you like our videos. Make sure you're sharing our videos.
Oh yeah.
These videos are very inspirational, but they come from the heart. Okay, we want other people to see them because we want other people to get the help and understanding they need to have the communication skills and express themselves the way they want to. So as always, thank you guys for watching this live episode of the Smithsonians. It's RJ the Beast.
DJ the Kid.
And as always, we will see you next time, and peace.